Not all gasoline is created equal, and filling up at certain gas stations with bottom-tier fuel that meets only minimum EPA standards is causing carbon buildup in your engine that reduces fuel economy by up to 3%, decreases power output, and costs hundreds or thousands in repairs over the vehicle's lifetime according to automakers and fuel quality research. While all gasoline must meet basic EPA requirements, there's a massive difference between minimum standard fuel and top-tier fuel that contains significantly higher levels of detergent additives proven to prevent and clean carbon deposits. Major automakers, including GM, Ford, Toyota, Honda, BMW, and Mercedes publicly endorse and recommend top-tier fuel because independent testing shows engines run on minimum detergent fuel develop intake valve deposits, fuel injector clogging, and combustion chamber carbon that causes rough idle, misfires, reduced performance, and increased emissions. The problem is that many convenience store gas stations and discount fuel retailers use the absolute minimum detergent levels allowed by law because additives cost money, and they compete primarily on price rather than quality. After running minimum detergent fuel for 30,000 miles, engines show measurably higher deposit levels, reduced fuel economy, and require expensive cleaning services costing $500 to $1,500. The most concerning aspect is that most drivers have no idea fuel quality varies this dramatically between stations, assuming all gasoline is identical as long as the octane rating matches their vehicle's requirements. Keep watching, because I'm going to explain the difference between minimum EPA fuel and top-tier fuel, show you the actual test data proving deposit formation, list which gas station brands meet top-tier standards, and calculate the real cost difference over years of ownership. Hey, if you like this kind of straight-to-the-point content with no BS, help me out here. Subscribe to the channel right now. It takes 2 seconds and guarantees you won't miss any tips that could save you some serious cash. Let me start by explaining EPA minimum detergent requirements versus top-tier standards and why this distinction matters. The Environmental Protection Agency mandates that all gasoline sold in the United States must contain minimum levels of detergent additives to prevent deposit formation in engines. This requirement, established in the 1990s, was designed to address problems with early low detergent fuels that cause severe carbon buildup. The EPA minimum standard requires specific concentrations of detergent additives measured in pounds per 1,000 barrels. However, this minimum was set decades ago based on older engine technology, and modern engines with direct injection, tighter tolerances, and more complex fuel systems are more susceptible to deposits than older engines. Recognizing this problem, 8 major automakers including General Motors, Ford, Honda, Toyota, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, and Audi created the top-tier gasoline standard in 2004. They worked with fuel suppliers to establish higher detergent additive levels specifically tested to keep modern engines clean. Top-tier fuel contains approximately double the detergent additives compared to EPA minimum fuel. The specific additives include polyethylamine or PEA, polyisobutylene or PIBA, and other detergent compounds that prevent deposit formation and clean existing deposits. Independent laboratory testing commissioned by automakers compared engines run exclusively on EPA minimum fuel versus top-tier fuel over extended test periods. The results were dramatic and measurable. Engines running EPA minimum fuel developed intake valve deposits averaging 19 times higher than engines running top-tier fuel. Fuel injectors showed significantly more coking and restriction with minimum fuel. Combustion chamber deposits were substantially higher with minimum fuel. These deposits cause multiple performance problems. Carbon buildup on intake valves disrupts airflow into cylinders, reducing power and fuel economy. This is especially problematic in direct injection engines where fuel doesn't wash over intake valves. Deposits on fuel injector tips restrict and alter spray patterns, causing incomplete combustion, rough running, and increased emissions. Combustion chamber deposits create hotspots that can cause pre-ignition or knock, and they increase compression ratio slightly, potentially requiring higher octane fuel than the engine was designed for. The real-world impact is measurable. Testing by AOA, the American Automobile Association, in 2016 compared EPA minimum fuel to top-tier fuel over 4,000 miles of driving. Vehicles using EPA minimum fuel showed an average fuel economy decrease of 2 to 4% compared to top-tier fuel. That's half a mile per gallon on a vehicle, getting 25 miles per gallon. Over 15,000 miles annually, that's 30 extra gallons of fuel consumed, costing approximately $120 per year at $4 per gallon. Additionally, engines running minimum fuel showed higher deposit levels requiring professional cleaning. Now, let me explain which gas stations sell top-tier fuel and which don't, because this information directly impacts your daily fueling decisions. The top-tier licensing program is voluntary. Fuel retailers must pay for testing and certification, then maintain the higher additive levels in all grades of fuel they sell. The list of top-tier licensed retailers is publicly available at toptiergas.com. Major brands that consistently meet top-tier standards include Chevron and Texaco, both owned by Chevron Corporation and heavily marketed around their Techron additive package. Shell, known for their V-Power formulation with high detergent levels. Mobil and Exxon, which merged and both maintain top-tier certification. BP and Amoco stations. Costco Wholesale, which is top-tier certified and often cheaper than branded stations. Valero stations, Phillips 66 and Conoco stations. Marathon and Speedway locations. Several other regional brands maintain certification. Notably absent from the top-tier list are many convenience store chains, supermarket fuel stations, and discount independent retailers. While these stations sell fuel meeting EPA minimums, they don't invest in the higher additive packages. Specific non-top-tier examples that have been documented include many ARCO stations, though some have joined top-tier recently. Circle K and various convenience store brands. Many independent and unbranded stations. Supermarket fuel programs from some grocery chains. The challenge is that the top-tier list changes as retailers join or occasionally drop certification, so checking the official website periodically is advisable. Some retailers advertise enhanced additives but aren't top-tier certified, so rely on the official certification rather than marketing claims. The price difference between top-tier and non-top-tier fuel is often negligible, typically 0 to 10 cents per gallon. Given the fuel economy and engine cleanliness benefits, the small premium is easily justified. Additionally, all grades at top-tier stations contain the enhanced additives, so even if you're buying regular unleaded, you get the deposit control benefits as long as the station is top-tier certified. Now let me explain the long-term cost implications and whether top-tier fuel is worth the potential premium. Consider a typical scenario. You drive 15,000 miles annually in a vehicle averaging 25 miles per gallon, requiring 600 gallons yearly. If you consistently use EPA minimum fuel that's 5 cents per gallon cheaper than top-tier, you save $30 per year. However, if the minimum fuel causes a 2% fuel economy decrease, which is conservative based on testing data, your actual fuel consumption increases to 612 gallons, costing an extra $48 annually at $4 per gallon, completely eliminating your savings and actually costing $18 more. Additionally, after 30 to 50,000 miles on minimum fuel, deposit buildup typically requires professional intake cleaning, fuel injection cleaning, or carbon cleaning services. These services cost $500 to $1,500 depending on the engine type and service provider. Direct injection engines are particularly expensive to clean because intake valve deposits require walnut shell blasting or chemical cleaning with the intake manifold removed. Over 100,000 miles of ownership, the potential costs include reduced fuel economy, costing several $100s, at least one major cleaning service costing $1,000 average, potentially reduced engine life and performance. The total additional cost can easily exceed $1,500 to $2,000 over the vehicle's life. Compare this to consistently using top-tier fuel, which might cost $50 to $100 more annually, totaling $500 to $1,000 over 10 years, while keeping the engine cleaner and avoiding expensive service. The net savings from top-tier fuel is approximately $500 to $1,500 over extended ownership. Beyond financial considerations, there are performance and emissions benefits. Cleaner engines run smoother with better throttle response and maintain rated power output. They produce lower emissions, passing emissions tests more easily and contributing less pollution. They're more reliable with fewer misfire or check engine light issues related to deposits. For enthusiasts with performance vehicles or anyone who values optimal engine operation, top-tier fuel is even more critical. Now let me address common questions and misconceptions. Question 1. If I've been using cheap fuel, is my engine already damaged? Answer. Deposit buildup is gradual and largely reversible. Switching to top-tier fuel will slowly clean deposits, though severely contaminated engines may benefit from professional cleaning, followed by top-tier fuel to prevent recontamination. Question 2. Are fuel additives you add yourself equivalent to top-tier fuel? Answer. Quality fuel additives like Chevron Techron or Redline SI1 can help, but they're more expensive per tank than just buying top-tier fuel, and you have to remember to add them. Top-tier fuel provides consistent protection without extra effort. Question 3. Does top-tier fuel clean existing deposits? Answer. Yes, the higher detergent levels both prevent new deposits and gradually clean existing ones, though severely built-up deposits may require professional service. Question 4. My owner's manual doesn't mention top-tier fuel. Do I still need it? Answer. Most manufacturers now recommend top-tier in owner's manuals or service literature, but even if not explicitly stated, the engineering benefits apply to all modern engines. Question 5. Is this just marketing by oil companies to charge more? Answer: the top tier standard was created by automakers, not oil companies, specifically to address real deposit problems they were seeing under warranty claims. The testing data is independently verified and publicly available. So here's the bottom line. Not all gasoline is equal despite meeting EPA minimums. Top tier fuel contains double the detergent additives and keeps engines measurably cleaner. Testing proves EPA minimum fuel causes deposit buildup that reduces fuel economy 2 to 4% and requires expensive cleaning services. Top-tier fuel costs 0 to 10 cents more per gallon, but saves money long-term through better fuel economy and avoiding cleaning costs. Major brands like Chevron, Shell, Mobil, Costco, and others are top-tier certified. Many convenience store and discount retailers are not. Over the vehicle's lifetime, using top-tier fuel saves $500 to $1,500 while maintaining better performance and reliability. The decision is clear. Spend a few extra cents per gallon on quality fuel, or spend hundreds on cleaning services while getting worse fuel economy.